Welcome, curious mind, to our deep dive today. We're tackling one of the most talked about games out there, Death Stranding 2, on the beach.
Absolutely. A game people have a lot of thoughts about.
Right. And Hideo Kojima's games, well, they're legendary, aren't they? Always intricate, sometimes completely bewildering narratives. They pull you into these worlds,
Yeah,
unlike anything else, really.
definitely. The first Death Stranding laid some, let's say, unique groundwork.
It certainly did. And DS2, it takes those foundations and builds this towering, mysterious story. But it is surprisingly coherent, despite all the twists.
Yeah, it holds together, even with the, mind-bending stuff.
So our mission today is to navigate this game's pretty intense timeline, look at the biggest plot twists, and sort of figure out how it sets the stage for what might come next.
And we're drawing directly from plot summaries, timeline info, ending analyses, basically digging into what the game itself presents.
Exactly. And for you, our listener, we want to distill those essential nuggets of knowledge, help you quickly grasp the full scope of this fascinating, kind of bleak world.
From character motivations to those big universe-altering events.
Get ready. We're going to really understand what happened in Death Stranding 2.
Okay, let's dive in.
So, our journey into Death Stranding 2 starts really soon after the first game, just 11 months later.
Which is surprisingly fast.
It is. But the world Sam re-enters, it's drastically transformed.
It really is remarkable how much changes in less than a year. The UCA, the United Cities of America, it's reconnected. But there was a cost.
A big one, seems like.
Yeah. The old logistics company, Bridges, it's gone.
Yeah.
Defunct. Replaced almost entirely by automated systems.
Which means human porters are out of a job.
Pretty much rendered obsolete. It's a huge shift in how that world functions.
But here's something interesting. Despite only 11 months passing, Sam Porter Bridges looks, well, he looks way older. Gray hair, deeper lines.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
So how do the sources explain that? I mean, it's not normal aging, right? What does it tell us straight away?
No, definitely not typical aging. The consensus seems to be that it reflects this immense emotional exhaustion he's carrying, deep trauma, and also the ongoing sort of cumulative effects of being a repatriate, coming back from the dead repeatedly.
Right, that's got to take a toll.
It immediately signals a heavier, more somber emotional state for Sam this time around. Really highlights the personal cost of his unique abilities.
Okay, so we find Sam living this secluded life, trying to stay out of it all. He's with his adopted daughter, Lou.
Down near the Mexican border, yeah. He actually broke orders, didn't he? He was supposed to destroy Lou.
He was, but he chose to raise her instead, father her.
A major decision. But then tragedy strikes.
Yeah, a really tragic incident. Lou is killed while under Fragile's watch.
And that's the catalyst, isn't it? That's what pulls Sam right back into everything he tried to leave behind.
Exactly. It's the definitive push.
And if you put that in the bigger picture, Lou's death just underscores the incredibly personal stakes for Sam. Fragile, who's now leading Drawbridge, this new company.
Right, the successor to her old one.
She desperately needs Sam, needs him to extend the chiral network out to Australia.
And how is he supposed to do that? Australia's a long way off.
Through these new things called plate gates. They're like newly manifested transcontinental portals, a whole new mechanic for the world.
Okay, plate gates. Got it. Now prepare yourself, listener, because this is where the plot twists really start to kick into high gear.
Oh yeah, buckle up.
So Sam gets pulled into this. The game calls it a darker alternate world. And there he meets this character who, I mean, let's be honest, looks a lot like Solid Snake. His name's Neil.
The resemblance is uncanny. And their conflict, initially, it's really not clear why they're fighting.
Not at all. And at the same time, Sam finds this young girl. She's got amnesia, but she also has these strange powers. Fragile ends up naming her Tomorrow.
And these two figures, Neil and Tomorrow, they immediately set up the game's central mysteries, Well, Tomorrow, she can float, and she rapidly ages things just by touching them. That makes her incredibly important to Fragile and the mission.
Okay, yeah, that sounds significant.
But Neil holds the key. He's the one who unlocks so much of Sam's past. Stuff Sam didn't even know.
Right, and the sources reveal this really heartbreaking backstory for Neil. Turns out, he was a porter about a decade ago.
Yeah, and he was involved in something pretty dark. Bridges' Bridge Baby program. He was trafficking pregnant women from Mexico.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's grim.
It is. And this work led him to seek counseling from Lucy, who just happened to be Sam's spouse.
Sam's wife? No way.
Yeah. And this situation, it forces you to think about the ripple effects of past choices, their shared vulnerability, Neil's guilt, Lucy's situation. It led to an affair.
An affair between Neil and Lucy.
Correct. And Lucy became pregnant. Now, she was terrified Bridges would find out and take the baby, especially because of Sam's status as a repatriate, his special connection.
They'd want the baby for the BB program because of Sam's dooms.
Exactly. So Lucy lied to Sam. She told him the child wasn't his, to protect it.
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy secret.
And then comes the part that just reshapes everything you thought you knew from the first game's backstory.
Go on.
Lucy became convinced Bridges was closing in, that they suspected the truth about her pregnancy. So she asked Neil for help one last time, to smuggle her out of the country.
Oh no, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. They tried to escape, but they were stopped by Bridges' security. Shot, killed.
Both of them, Neil and Lucy.
Both of them. Lucy's fetus, though, was recovered and sent straight to the BB program.
So that's where?
And Neil's body. It necrotized. Caused a massive void out, one of those huge crater events.
So that void out, that was Neil. And this explains who that solid snake guy is. It's Neil's lingering presence, or something connected to that event.
Precisely. It explains a huge past event and gives context to this mysterious figure Sam keeps encountering. It's a massive revelation.
Okay. Mind blown already. But the game's ending, it just keeps piling on these shocking revelations. They completely recontextualize everything.
It's like an avalanche of twists at the end.
First up, the villain Higgs. He boards their ship, captures Tomorrow.
Yep, classic villain move.
And reveals that she, Tomorrow, is actually Sam's biological daughter.
Sam's biological daughter. Not just Lou adopted, but the actual child from Lucy.
Exactly. And not only that, she's apparently capable of bringing forth an extinction event.
Which immediately connects back to the whole extinction entity concept from the first game, doesn't it?
It does. It feels like Kojima's really underscoring this cycle. Humanity's struggle against these massive, almost cosmic threats, sometimes ones we create ourselves.
Yeah, it shows how progress, like the chiral network, can inadvertently, bring back or empower these ancient dangers.
Okay, so Sam's daughter is Tomorrow, and she's potentially world-ending. Heavy stuff. But just when you think you're getting a handle on this new reality.
Bam. Another twist.
Death Stranding 2 pulls the rug right out. Fragile. Her role in all this, it's way more profound and way more tragic than we could have guessed.
What happens?
Sam learns she's dead, and she has been since the start of the game.
Wait, what? How?
She died protecting Lou during that initial attack we mentioned earlier. The one that killed Lou, or so we thought.
Right, back at Sam's place.
She used her teleportation powers, her Doom's ability to send the baby away from danger just before she died. Her soul, basically.
Like we see with other characters.
Yeah, it's separated from her body, but somehow it managed to possess her corpse, her physical body, just to keep Sam motivated, to keep him on his mission.
Wow. That provides so much context for her presence throughout the game. And her sometimes detached demeanor, maybe.
Exactly. And it highlights these incredible selfless sacrifices people make in this world. It sort of echoes how characters like Deadman and Heartman function, right? Navigating their own unique states between life and death to help out.
That's a great point. It fits the universe's logic perfectly.
And then the final piece. The ultimate aha moment where it all clicks together.
The biggest one.
Lou. The baby Sam thought was killed in that attack. The one Fragile died saving.
Yeah.
She wasn't killed. Fragile did save her, sent her somewhere else. She ended up growing up in an alternate world, or maybe a dimension, where time flows differently. Much faster.
Wait, Lou.
Lou is Tomorrow.
No, really?
Yes. The baby grew up rapidly in that other dimension and became the young woman Tomorrow. Sam had his biological child with him, this young woman, this entire time and never knew it.
That's huge. The sources compared it to Interstellar's ending, right?
Yeah.
That kind of time dilation reveal.
They did. It has that same kind of emotional gut punch about time and connection.
Okay, zooming out from that personal shock.
Yeah.
It's just a profoundly clever twist, isn't it? Playing with identity, time, the rules of this universe.
It makes Sam's whole emotional journey, his bond with the BB he thought was Lou, and then his connection with Tomorrow, it makes it all incredibly poignant, really impactful.
Yeah, completely reframes his motivations and his grief.
So after all those reveals, we get the final confrontations, which are pretty epic, as you'd expect.
Higgs gets dealt with.
Oh, yeah. Higgs, who was brought back by the president, he's finally defeated after this massive climactic battle.
Okay, but that raises a question. The president. Who is this president, really? He seems off.
He is. The sources reveal something pretty wild. He's not one person. He's an amalgamation, like a collective consciousness of 4,000 deceased human souls.
4,000 souls. How?
They're all connected to the automated APA system, the thing running the UCA's logistics now.
Okay, so what was his plan then? Why bring back Higgs? Why expand the network?
His plan was, well, kind of chilling. He wanted to use the newly expanded chiral network to forcibly seclude all living humans inside their own personal beaches.
Back everyone away. Permanently.
Permanently. His logic was that this would protect them from the Death Stranding. If everyone's isolated on their beach, they can never encounter BTs, so the risk is negated. Total safety through total isolation.
Wow. Protecting humanity by essentially ending human interaction. That's extreme.
Extremely. But there was a counter move. Someone was onto him.
Oh.
Charlie, who it turns out is actually Die Hardman from the first game.
I heard. Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense. He was always loyal to Sam, deep down.
Right. He knew about the president's rather sinister plan, and he secretly reprogrammed the chiral network using Sam's Cupid.
Sam's necklace thing, his connection key.
That's the one. He used it to basically sever the president's connection to APS and the whole network. Cut him off.
Brilliant. So Die Hardman saves the day, in a way.
It perfectly illustrates that ongoing battle, doesn't it? It's not just fighting the BTs. It's fighting against these dangerous, even if sometimes well-intentioned, attempts to control humanity's future.
Yeah, the fight for connection versus forced isolation, a core theme.
Okay, so after the main story wraps up, the post-credit scenes kick in, and they definitely seem to set up a potential Death Stranding 3.
Oh, what do we see?
We see Tomorrow. She's older now, clearly grown more, and she's become a porter, just like her father, Sam.
Following in his footsteps.
And she's carrying her old BB container, but it's not holding a BB anymore. It's like a box for mementos, cherished items.
That's a nice touch. But what really stands out, according to the sources...
The container is filled with fresh apples.
Apples. Why is that significant?
Because it indicates she's gained control over her rapid aging ability. The power that used to wither things instantly, she's mastered it.
Ah, okay. That suggests major growth, maturity, control over those unique powers she inherited.
Definitely. And we see her approaching one of those plate gates, presumably heading off on her own adventure.
Ready to make her own deliveries, her own connections.
And the sources mention Kojima has ideas for more games, right? Even if he doesn't direct them himself.
Yeah, and these plate gates are key to that, apparently. They allow for stories basically anywhere. Makes setting future games in new locations much easier logistically.
So the bigger picture here seems to be a universe that's really ripe for expansion.
For sure. And Tomorrow seems perfectly positioned to potentially be a playable character in the next installment, carrying on that legacy Sam built.
The story feels far from over.
Not at all, just moving into a new chapter.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for you, our listener? We've journeyed through Death Stranding 2 and seen how it weaves this incredibly complex tapestry, personal history, huge cosmic events, truly shocking family secrets.
All while pushing the boundaries of its own unique world, yeah.
From figuring out Lou is tomorrow to Neil's tragic past, Fragile's unbelievable sacrifice. I mean, it's just a journey packed with unexpected turns.
It really does underscore how individual choices and stories are just completely tied up with these massive world-shaping events, how tiny details from the past can have enormous consequences down the line.
Yeah. And for you listening, this deep dive hopefully shows how every single piece of information, even the weird stuff, it all contributes to this larger, really impactful narrative.
It's kind of a testament, isn't it? How even the strangest, most out there stories can have these deeply moving emotional cores.
Absolutely. So as you reflect on Sam's incredibly tough journey and Tomorrow's emergence as this powerful new figure, here's a final thought for you to chew on.
Go for it.
In a world like Death Stranding's, where time bends, where connections can literally transcend death, what does it truly mean to forge your own path? And what kind of unexpected legacies, maybe ones you don't even know about, might you be carrying forward yourself?